Hi, if you are an artist, inventor, creator, or a law student, you must be wondering what is intellectual property. I know you must be hearing from a lot of people, like if you have started your own business recently, go and protect your intellectual property. But before protecting intellectual property, it is important to understand what is intellectual property. Hi, I am Prigya Arora, daughter of inspiring parents, alumna of IIT Kharagpur, engineer, turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, where we help innovators and creators to protect their intellectual property. In this video, we'll try to understand what is intellectual property and how is it different from the physical property. So let us begin. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property is creation of mind that has some value. So whatever you create using your mind and you feel it is valuable, it could be an intellectual property. For example, your ideas, your music, the painting you imagine, the poetry you are going to write, everything can be an intellectual property. We are surrounded by intellectual property, just that we are unaware of it. Now, let us understand what are the differences between intellectual property and physical property. So, one of the important difference which everyone generally knows is that intellectual property is intangible property while physical property is tangible property. That means intellectual property is something which we cannot touch while physical property is something which we can touch. Another important difference between physical property and intellectual property is physical property is always protected by possession. For example, if I have this pen in the form of physical property, it means I can hold this pen, I can use this pen, and it is my pen. Nobody can tell that it is their pen. This is my pen. I have purchased it. I have right to use it. So, physical property is protected by possession. But in case of intellectual property, the case is not the same. It cannot be protected by mere possession. For example, if I have this pen, this does not mean that I own design of this pen. This does not mean that I own patent rights of this pen. Similarly, if I am hearing to a music or I have downloaded some music in my laptop, it does not mean that I created that music and I have intellectual property on it. So, intellectual property cannot be protected by mere possession. Further, it is important to understand that as intellectual property cannot be protected by mere possession, multiple people can use that property at the same time. If I have this pen in the form of physical property, this means only I can use it. Probably two people cannot use this pen at the same time for writing. But intellectual property, for example, music. Millions of people can download same music and can listen to it on their devices. There is intellectual property in services like text message service. Probably 7 billion people on earth can use that service at the same time. So that intellectual property does not or merely cannot be protected by possession, and multiple number of people can use that property at the same time. It is not limited. As multiple people can use the intellectual property at the same time, it's better to get your intellectual property protected because those number of people are going to give you revenue from it. To summarize, intellectual property is creation of mind that has some value. Real property is always protected by possession, and intellectual property cannot be merely protected by possession. So yes, this is all about what intellectual property is, and if you have any further questions, feel free to drop me an email and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. Thank you.